Once upon a gentle evening, where the sun painted golden lines across the sleepy village, there stood a cozy little house on the very edge, where birds visited in the mornings and wildflowers nodded in the cheerful breeze. Inside this house lived an old man, his son's kind wife, and their lively grandson Peter. The old man's hair was white as mountain snow, and his hands trembled slightly whenever he held a cup of tea or a spoonful of stew. Still, he wore a smile as wide as the river behind their home, always telling gentle stories and humming lullabies from long ago. Peter thought his grandfather was like a living fairy tale, full of warmth and friendly surprise. But as the seasons passed and the gentle old man grew even older, sometimes dishes slipped from his loyal hands, or spoons wobbled like boats on soup. The daughter-in-law, busy with all the housework and chores, sometimes felt her patience blow away like autumn leaves. One evening, when the old man dropped his bowl by mistake, the clatter made everyone jump. The delicious soup puddled on the table and the floor. The daughter-in-law's face turned red, and her voice, usually sweet, was sharp with frustration. "Why must you always spill your food? Must we tidy after you for every bite?" The father looked away, uneasy, and Peter's small heart thudded with worry. The old man's eyes, which twinkled like dewdrops, now seemed lost in the clouds. From then on, the family set up a tiny table beside the window just for him, and gave him a wooden bowl and spoon, sturdy as they were plain. The old man accepted these changes quietly, not wanting to trouble anybody, but Peter noticed the way he stared at the stars each night, whispering stories that sounded a little lonelier than before. Peter wondered what it would be like to be old and to eat alone, away from laughter and stories. One afternoon, while birds chirped and bees hummed among the tulips, Peter sat in the garden, a stick in his hand, carefully carving shapes into a block of wood. His father, watching from the porch, came closer and asked, "My boy, what are you making?" "I'm making a wooden bowl for you and Mommy to eat from when you get old," Peter answered with childlike innocence. He smiled up at his father, proud of his careful work. But the father froze, surprised by Peter's words, as though a gentle light had flickered on inside his heart. Suddenly, the father thought about how one day, his own hands would tremble, and how he too would wish for kindness, not loneliness.